welcome back to Life and Listings podcast. Today I have Chris joining us. Hey, Chris.
Hey, how are you?
Pretty good. Thanks for joining us. You've got a lot going on, so I'm excited to hear what you have to kind of share with our audience. So tell me a little bit about yourself, who you are, what you do, where you came from.
I've been in real estate 34 years, so I won't put everybody to sleep. I'll give you a high level and you can unpack whatever you want. Yeah, I've been at this since 91, so 34 years. I've been married 39 years coming up this summer. So we did meet when we were 10-ish. Yeah, 10. And so real estate's been an interesting journey for me. So from 91 till now, and I'll just highlight things that I think could come back out later. I've touched upon building homes, apartment, condominium conversions, fix and flip, wholesale, the basic stuff. And I had a brokerage as a broker owner. I sold that to Coldwell Banker in 2000. And then running up after that, from 2000 till 2008, I coached high producing, high GCI realtors out in Canada, actually, because I had a buddy. I think he still does it out there, Richard Robbins, holds big events still. I used to coach with him. And then I started just doing my own properties, and that led us to the lovely crash of '08. So when I went into the crash, I had 23 or so different properties, mixed use, condominium, things going on. Every one of them, though, I was signed personally. And so I learned the hard way what happens when you sign personally, or what can happen. So it took me from February of '08 till February of 12, literally. Like I remember like it was yesterday, to dig out, to get it back out of my own way mentally, to, get back in business and stop blaming me and anything else that came my way. So I got back in it, but that was the impetus to what we're doing today. So you couldn't have convinced me then that it was good or fun, but it's why we're doing what we do today. And I say it's a family company. We've now grown to, all over the country with employees, but it started with just my son-in-law and daughter. And we started buying properties because they had no choice on terms. Meaning no banks, no down payments, no investors. I wasn't bankable when I came out of that. Now, then that grew organically to Smart Real Estate Coach today. We hit Inc. 5,000 fastest growing companies 3 years in a row. And like the biggest thing we do that doesn't exist to this day is when I was looking for things, Jennifer, I couldn't find anything whatsoever getting back in the saddle that said, okay, here's a course or a program, but now we're going to support you this way. It was just selling you a bunch of promises. So, and I still think it's even worse now with that. So we actually do deals with community members. We're in 80 markets. We do deals with them so that we're with them from the beginning to the closing. I'm talking about from the phone call till the closing 2, 3, 4, 5 years down the road, the way we exit. So I just fast forwarded through 34 years. You can go back to any part of
that. And it was I did not fall asleep. You can see my face if you're watching the video. I did not fall asleep. So I'm really interested. So there's so many coaches out there, right? So I love the fact that you're with them on these deals.
Yeah.
From day one to day whatever. Tell me a little bit about that. Like, are you partnering with them? Is it just strictly coaching on every single deal?
Yeah, good question. We don't partner. We let them take the property into their entity so they get to depreciate it and they have all the benefits. We are technically a consultant on that deal, tied to that deal for all 3 of the paydays. And we'll talk about that later. But every time they get paid, we rev share with them. It's so important because there's a lot of good teachings out there. I wasn't kind of stepping all the teachings out there, but if someone goes to a seminar and it sounds all rosy, or they go to take a course, it's different. It's the same as realtors too. It's no different. So when you go out in the real world, what do you do when you hit all those curveballs? So that's why we stay with them.
Yeah.
Maximize profit, maximize. Like as an entrepreneur, I wish it was just as easy as, okay, Jennifer, here's a skill set to do a deal in the creative world. That'd be easy. Go watch our YouTube videos and you're done.
Yeah.
But it's all the stuff to become an entrepreneur that gets in the way, the mindset piece and all that. So yeah, that's why we stay with them.
Yeah. I mean, especially there's owning a business and then there's the actual deal part of it, right? You're doing a real estate deal in different markets and things happen and you're dealing with other parties and other realtors or whatever. And so you're there every step of the way. So they don't have to figure it out all by themselves. You're helping them get over some of these hurdles and like hopefully get it to the closing table, or maybe sometimes even coaching them to be like, yeah, walk away from this one. Like this
100%. Yeah. Yep.
Okay. Tell me a little bit about you started this with your family and now you've grown it to quite a few employees. Tell me about that growth pattern.
Yeah. So it was me coming out of the crash, and then my son, Nick, came on in 14. And because I was just being overwhelmed by trying to dispose of the properties and how we do it in the rent to own world. And then the year after that in 15, my daughter and son-in-law were bartenders. We were in like a resort area and they were personal trainers. And although great cash, the lifestyle was awful, right? Ungodly hours. So they came and said, can we work? I said, yeah, no salary or anything crazy. You're going to eat what you kill, so to speak. We're going to do deals and we're going to share together. And then, so it was just us. And then we started getting demand for people to coach them on how to do it. Literally, like there's a war college here in Newport. It's a military place. And one of the kids that was in there had gone to Afghanistan 3 times. He's like only in his late 20s. He heard about us and said, can you teach me? And like, we didn't have a coaching program. I said, sure, come in the office. I come up with some number that was tiny. And I said, I'll show you how to do this. And that was a pretty cool experience. So we learned that not only is that fun to see that through, but we also become much sharper on our own skills when we teach, right?
Yeah.
So, and it was a way for us to then start thinking about doing deals elsewhere without taking on all that risk.
Yeah.
But to do it with students. So there's like 3 reasons we get into coaching.
I love it. I feel like just listening, I have so many people I could send you. Like they're just over time, they're just figuring it out on their own or paying for courses and stuff. But I mean, they still need to pay for courses and learn and learn and learn. But having that one-on-one thing just seems amazing.
It's important. Yeah.
Yeah. So you owned a brokerage before. A lot of our listeners are broker owners, team leads, and agents. Tell me a little bit about like the different profit centers that you would recommend some of these people look into.
Yeah, I really, really wish I knew this when I was cranking, because I like 95 till 2000 before I sold, we did 120 homes a year just with my little team. It was like 3 of us. And I just think back to my metrics. For example, I knew if I went on 100 listing appointments, I might list X amount of those, right? And I knew all my listings I took, I would sell, I think it was 72 or 75%. So I just knew I couldn't do every deal if I think back. And every January I'd be like, okay, I got to get back on the treadmill and recreate that. Although it was good money, I was like, oh, I got to do it again. Transactional.
Yeah.
So there were all these listings that might expire, or they didn't want to hire you because they didn't want to pay, or they're upside down. They don't want to do a short sale. You know, all these things that don't fit in your box, basically, that you won't do or you can't do. Those are all deals that we would look at. And if you knew the skill set you'd look at, you wouldn't have to refer them to us. And you could buy these over time without using banks, without signing on loans. So not only would you create some serious profit centers, because this is money that once you put a property in play, it lives for 2 to 5 years, sometimes longer. Not only that, but you then become the authority with the sellers. You know, I put my moral and ethical hat on and I say to you as a seller, hey, let's look at your situation. It might be great for me to list it. It might not be. It might be a better avenue that we can help you with. And I think they appreciate that big time. And not only that, but there's not many people doing it in all the markets we're in. We have some licensed people in our community, but it's a small segment. So you have a chance to, in all these markets, as the market's changing, you have a chance to really be the authority in a standalone area where you can help a lot more people.
What does the liability look like for that though?
Well, you're buying the property. So it's not like if I go to your house and you say, look, I want top dollar. And I say, well, it might be a little pricey for the conventional market. Can you wait on your equity? Or do you need it today? No, I could wait. I have time. I'm not in a hurry. Great. So I can structure a deal on terms with you over time. You'll get more money than you will conventionally. And the liability is off them. I buy the house.
Yeah.
We buy different ways, but we buy the house.
Okay. Because I think that's so interesting. I've known a couple different agents that have done things in different ways, right? If it doesn't sell by X amount of time for X amount of price, I'll buy it from you for whatever. And it usually doesn't sell for what they wanted it, right? Because you were right in the first place and they end up buying it. So I think that's really interesting. So how would you recommend like an agent or a broker get started with that? I'm assuming maybe it's like different types of financing or something like that to get started and being able to do this at scale.
So we buy 3 ways, and these are all fit for that question. One is owner financing. I love to do them primarily with people that are free and clear. It's about 1/3 of the properties, throughout the country. But you can also do, if they have mortgage debt, still most do, the other 2/3, you can do lease purchase or subject to existing loan. In other words, you buy the house, but the loan stays in their name and the property transfers.
Okay.
That or the lease purchase works. It's just a matter of their situation. I'm always listening to them going, what do I have to solve here? Or what do I have to help them create that the market's not giving them conventionally? That's all. So they don't need financing. This will all be without conventional financing, without banks.
Yeah. And obviously the seller's goal, right? Like there's different things that they're looking at. Do they need to pull out, like you said, like earlier, do they need all the equity right now?
Yeah.
Could you do it over time? I mean, someone that's retiring and maybe they're just going to go buy an RV and drive around. They might not need all the equity right now. It might be fine with like paying over time.
Yeah, I'm smiling because I told my wife, I had a guy who said, I just want to buy an RV and leave. This was last Saturday. And my wife said, well, tell him at least one. It doesn't need to buy one. We were talking about it and I said, you'd be surprised how many times during a week we get that from retirees. or I'll go rent. I don't even know where I want to be yet. And those are all great candidates for what we do. I'll give you an example on a non-residential level. My office building, I bought from a gentleman. He's one of the largest landowners in the area. He's not new to real estate. He had a 4x8 sign out on a busy road saying for sale by owner financing. And he said, when I met him, I hadn't known him. He said, Chris, they're not getting it. Realtors are bringing me offers. I don't want offers because I don't want cash for tax reasons and estate planning reasons. Like, people just have different goals, and all we have to do is listen to what they're trying to do.
I feel like that's a whole other podcast episode of like asking the right questions then listening.
Yeah. I'm training on it tomorrow for 3 hours. It could be fun to do, but yeah, it's a different one.
It's funny, but it's not funny at the same time. How often, like when I was an agent, I'd get my offer accepted because I asked the right questions. What are they wanting? Do they need a long close? Do they need a rent back? What is their situation? What are they trying to achieve out of the sale? And oftentimes agents just don't even ask. And so like in that situation, he's like, I don't want that. I want this. For whatever reason, you're going to get a better deal over here for both parties, but you had to listen first.
Yeah, 100%. So, you're solving problems. That's all you're doing.
Yeah, absolutely. So you're training on that for 3 hours. Is that part of your coaching program, or is this like a separate thing? It's
actually a free, it's coincidental to you saying that. It's a free virtual event we're doing tomorrow, and my son-in-law is traveling, so I'm doing the whole training. And I haven't done it in a while, so I'm going to have some fun with it. But yeah, we're going to do live calls, actually. Live calls, live call critiques, and script training for those interested to see what are these guys doing in the trenches, what's really going on here. So that's what it's for. It's a glimpse behind the curtain.
Is that really like the premise of it, is like asking the right questions so you know how to navigate the deal?
Yeah, there's 3 sides alone that could take us, we could stay on them, because like the 3 questions, let me just drop this for sake of people saying, okay, I could go do that. It sounds so simple, but like if a neighbor was selling, right, they stick a sign in their yard, you'd have just a conversation with them. There wouldn't be this rigid, script thing, right? Okay. So the 3 simple ones are where are you going, by when, and what if it doesn't happen? So like you're my neighbor. I go, hey, I saw you sign. Where are you going? That's a normal question. Oh, cool. When do you need to be there by? Well, I have a job reload. Or okay, so interesting. What if it doesn't happen? Like, what's your plan B? And that's where usually we commit. So it's a simple thing to have that conversation. Now everything comes out of that, right? The motivation comes out of that, but those 3 questions do it.
And it sounds so simple, but a lot of us have been trained over time that there's these specific scripts that you have to go off of and blah, blah, blah. And people get too stuck in the, did I say the whatever sentence? When the person's telling you, you just ask the right questions. They're telling you what's happening over here and what their motivation, especially with what you're coaching to, right? Like there are different interesting ways of financing that you can both benefit from it, both parties, where we're always kind of looking at that one-sided thing. Like, okay, the buyer has to get financing in this way and then give the seller XYZ money, but you can kind of do things a little bit different. So
yeah, interesting you bring up the buyer. So how we fill our properties is with buyers who today can't get financing. So we put them through a very rigid rent to own program, but they're not like renters that maybe have a goal to buy someday. These are true buyers. Like examples would be after COVID, this is huge, but they're leaving corporate America. They have great money. They have cash. They're ready to buy. They didn't know. Most of them didn't know they're not financeable. And I heard this is getting even worse. They need like 2 years of seasoning, new job or new business, right? So they're great rent to own buyers because they come in, they just need time. The credit's good. They have cash, but they can't get a loan yet. So we put them in a home right away with rent to own, and they lock in just like if they were buying. It's a big segment. If you're a broker owner or a realtor, you know the numbers. Like right now, I've got a very big loan officer in our program. He said, Chris, if I get 17 or 18 of the apps out of 100 qualified, that's good. Mm-hmm. Okay, so what about the other 80%? There's a big pool there for us. It's huge.
I mean, that happened to me when I started my business, right? We moved cross country and I had just started Staats Solutions.
Yeah.
And we wanted to buy our house. We had tons of equity coming from the other house, but I had just started a brand new company. Yep. So I was kind of in that bucket. Luckily, my husband has like a normal W-2 job and we just didn't put me on there. But it can happen, right? It's not always because you have bad credit.
Right.
As we pivot a little bit, because this is like, I feel like we can go in so many different directions. Chris, what would you say your superpower is?
You know what? This is going to be simple, but I think it's effective. And that is the willingness to work hard. Like I'm going to use Tom Brady. Tom Brady's, that's his motto, right? Like he didn't do anything special. He worked his butt off with the discipline to do that. So I think that's it because I love doing what I'm doing. So I go at it. I mean, I'm here 5:30 in the morning and I go at it because I love what we're doing, but that usually will outwork anyone else too.
So do you make all your family show up at 5 a.m. too?
No. They're all, it's funny because we used to all be in the same house. We used to all live right near each other here. But now Nick comes in a little bit later and stays later. So we're kind of opposite schedules. And then my son-in-law, Zach, and my daughter, Caleb, moved back to Massachusetts where they were brought up. So they're all virtual. Since COVID, it's mostly virtual, our entire team. So they do their flexible schedules.
Since COVID, that's just kind of the standard, right? Like it's everybody's semi-virtual for the most
Well,
part.
and you get good talent too, right? Because we were trying to recruit locally and then that happened. We're like, oh, this is cool. And now you can get all this talent from all over the country. And on the investing end, sellers now, it's like the norm and they almost appreciate you not traipsing through right away. We do a lot virtual.
Mm-hmm.
Because I don't even see the house, but the ones that want us to see it, we see virtually. So that's helped us a lot. That wasn't pre-COVID. They thought you were nuts back then to not go in their house.
Yeah. Even pre-COVID, for me and my company, we had everybody that I would hire locally. And then after COVID, we hire everyone across the country because I can just find way better, like you said, talent if I could open it up to everybody in the United States and tell them that on top of that, they could travel the world if they wanted to, as long as they show up during business hours. I get the best applicants. I was getting like dog walkers applying to work for me here. And I was like, you're not public at all, but they were local. So
yeah, we have two on our team that asked that when they were hired. Jana and Kelsey, they said we'd love to travel. And we said, go for it. Just make sure you stay to your priorities and get things done.
Yeah, why not? So Chris, this has been awesome. So people that are listening in, he's got a podcast, coaching company, all the good stuff. So where should we send people if they want to get more information about coaching or your podcast? Or I know you had a couple books to share. Where should we send them?
Yeah, I'm big on free. So I'll give you the books. Just go to wickedsmartbooks.com/Jennifer and put in this for shipping. We'll ship it. It's totally free. And then if they don't mind listening to me for another 50 or so minutes from my New England accent, they can go to, I have a free workshop. It's been, taped and recorded. They can watch it at their own leisure. Go to smartrealestatecoach.com/masters class. And they'll get a glimpse. And that way it's like, yeah, I want to tack this on my business, or no, thanks. But I was exposed and I'm good. And I'm good with that. And then on YouTube, we have we were laughing earlier saying if it was just about a deal, go to YouTube. If you type in Smart Real Estate Coach, on there, among other things, is every Sunday we post a deal structure Sunday.
Okay.
We've been doing it for years. There's probably 400 or 500 on there now, where we outline how we do the deals, how the 3 paydays work. It's just a different quality of income, and it's cool for you to go see it.
Ooh, I love that. I'm going to have to check that out. Awesome. Well, I'll drop some of those links down below. If you're watching on YouTube, I'll put it down in the description. If you're listening on a podcast app, I'll put that down there as well. And Chris, thanks so much for joining us today. This has been just a wealth of knowledge.
It was awesome being on. Thank you.
Have a good day.
You too.